Ooh. Chrissy, what's up? Yes, y'all. Mike, what's up? Mr. Green, what's up? All right now. Yes, ma'am. Everything's well. All right. Peace. 1, 2. Who would be? It be me, Sean B. Listening to my man C.Z. Straight out of Ghana. Yes.
I'll still love you, I'll still be right.
Everybody come on. My young brother CC.
You just sweet like shit though. I ain't get the penny for body. I didn't need this your love. But girls are the things that shit you know.
What's up? Straight talk is a straight understanding. Who with me? We're about to have a good old time. Today's subject. What are your requirements? Requirements in picking your men, your women, doing your job, whatever. Mono. Right. So, what are your requirements today? Yeah, I'm talking to you. What's going on? Alright. I'm gonna let that ride one more time. Alright, this is CZ right here. Nah, this is episode like number 70. Dean, what's up? East New York in the house, I got Mona. East New York in the house, I got Dean. East New York. All the way in Cali. Straight talk, this is straight understanding. Yes, that's what we're doing right now. In case you don't know, my name is Sean Bolden, Sean B. Some people call me Shiz. However you know me. Dean, what's going on? Yes, sir, salute. We're going to talk about some things today. Ian, what up? I ain't seen you in a while. All right. Let me invite some more people. Alright. So yo, we're about to get started. Hey yo. Alright, yo, I'm a little bit. Enjoying my man CZ right now. Straight out of Ghana. Young boy. Straight talk. Straight understanding. Straight understanding. I talk to you straight. You understand me well. And we do it all day. And yes, I do it well. I don't know why I'm rhyming, but I'm feeling real good. So this is straight talk, straight understanding, straight from the hood. Yo. Alright. Alright, yo. Alright, yo. Clarence, what's up? East New York in the house. It's official, the original, we're back. You don't know how to act. That's fact. Hit Michelle add pandemonium. Hit. Laid across the floor, pandemonium. Hit. Fly across the world, pandemonium. Trip. Every station, every club, pandemonium. Hit. You talking about a drink. You say you get a bottle. You wanna turn it on? Let's push it full throttle. Love is love from the streets to the suites with the squares and the thugs. Pandemonium. This is what we do up in the club. Spread a little love. This is what we do up in the club. Have a good time and spread a little love. Yes, yes, that's Pandemonium 783. In case you didn't know, this is me, Sean B. What's going on? Cummins Remy. What's going on? Alright, y'all. We're about to get started. Let's see. Who I'm going to ask to join in today. So this is Straight Talk, Lisa Straight Understanding. My name is Sean Bolden. Some people know me as Sean B. Some people know me as Shiz. However you know me, it's all good. Alright, well today what we're going to get into. Alright. First off, I'm going to send a rest in peace to Buys One. Buys One is a colleague, industry vet, industry representative, worked for several different labels, probably got every plaque I got up there and some more. He passed away from the COVID, complications with COVID. He leaves behind his young daughter, and just want to send a shout out and blessings and condolences to his loved ones and to all those who knew him. Buys was a good dude, and we definitely, what up? Buys was a good dude, and we definitely wanted to send him a rest in peace. Rest in peace, Buys One. That's first business at hand. Secondly, let's talk about some marriage, some random stuff. Did y'all see the chick? What's good? Did y'all see the chick who climbed through the drive-through window to get some ranch dressing? What I think was to get some attention. Fran, what's up? What I think to get some attention, she climbed through the window. She went in and said, yo, where's my ranch? I need my ranch. Got her ranch, had all of the people in the restaurant shook, ain't had no shoes on. She was out there wilding out. And then she just, as she climbed back out the window to her car, twerked a little something. I don't know what's going on, man. People want attention that bad. Yo, I realized one thing more recently is that the reason why I don't always, what's going on? All right, I'm going to let Bear come on in. The reason I'm talking about too much, I got Bear coming in on my Instagram, y'all. But the industry be eating people up and swallowing them, spitting them out.
Yeah.
Yo, Bear, what's up? My condolences also to my brother Bear. His mom's passed. Salute to you.
Oh,
Condolences to you, brother.
appreciate that, brother. Appreciate
Good,
that,
good.
brother. Yeah.
Good.
But you know what?
What up?
I'm jumping in on that. It's mental health issues.
I can't dispute that.
There's a lot of mental health issues out here being caught on camera.
I can't dispute that, but I'm gonna say this as well. A lot of people issue is that they want some mental fame, and they want to be they want to get a bag, and they want to go viral, and they want to be popular. Not everybody is mental health issues. Some people.
No, but see, that's delusional. But you're right. But Sean, that's delusional. They in their delusion. They think that if I do this thing, if I get caught on this, I'm going to be famous. That's delusional.
I mean, you're right. But in fairness, a lot of people have done that, have gotten famous, doing some crazy stuff, and caught a bag behind it.
You know what? I was just watching another podcast where a gentleman was talking about that how TikTok works in China versus how TikTok works here.
Uh huh.
In China, TikTok is
Speaking.
being used a as a platform for to better your children. Hey, my child did this, and you know, basically to better your child and better your situation. You know what I mean? Here in America, it's who can do the stupidest shit the fastest and get the most votes for it. You niggas have problems.
What my man Clarence said is seeking 15 minutes of fame is mental issues. Can't dispute that. That's you got a great
True,
point there.
true.
You got a
It's
great
it's
point.
it. Yeah, I don't understand how I don't understand how these individuals don't see it. Like there's a very popular brother right now who's changed his name to two letters who has very serious mental health issues. And nobody is pointing to those. Everybody is just accepting him because co- the other folks are accepting him and his issues. And actually, you and I know a Caucasian that helped this individual reach his level,
Uh-huh.
a very happy individual,
Right.
reach, helped him reach this level, but now y'all ain't fucking with him because he's got mental health issues.
Well,
There's no black mother that told you to marry a hoe and try to turn her into a housewife. No black mother has ever done that. None.
you're giving it away of who you're talking about. Do
Oh,
that.
I'm sorry. I thought I was being I thought I
Yeah.
was being
Nah. But
yeah,
you being discreet. Well,
that's the word.
yeah. Well, she was in the streets, and you was being discreet. But yo, in all seriousness, let's be real. It ain't about people turning a blind eye to it. People are accepting it because he got $1 billion, and he made $1 billion
But it,
while doing it.
but it's the same thing as your little trifling ass uncle been at the bottom of the table messing with everybody, but since he got a new Cadillac every year, he okay.
But the funny thing is, that's true. Adrian, I want you to join me today on the topic. But that's true. Everybody does ignore because, again, the Cadillac is what made them ignore it. The money is what made them ignore it. Monetary has replaced morality. Plain,
Yes.
and it's
Yes.
happened over for decades, you know,
Yes.
for centuries even.
I think I like to focus on our people. So I think for us, there was a level of acceptance, of wanting to be accepted in those 50s and those 60s, wanting to see ourselves as better or on a different level, or that we can accept this pain and this position in America and still improve our positions. That was a mentality that I was even raised with because I was told as a child, you can't do like they do. You have to do better. But right now it's, well, Joey did it. Why can't I do it?
And that's interesting. And Mike said, "Brother, y'all wrong." So, Mike,
Who's
elaborate on that.
wrong?
Elaborate on that.
Who wrong?
No, that
Before you tell me, hold on. Before Live Club Link tells me why I'm wrong, can he tell me how many African conflicts are going on right now where black people are killing black people? Can he tell me that? Or are we supposed to run to Ukraine because some Ukrainians ain't allowing black people to leave with them? Because if you 18 and 65, your ass supposed to be in the country. You ain't supposed to be trying to leave. But they want to leave the Negroes behind.
man,
But
right. Well,
I,
let's rewind because I don't want to get into
yeah,
the
let's rewind.
political politics, and you got a point there. Today's subject is,
Oh,
as I
okay.
read it here, what are your standards? Do you have or requirements? Do you have any, or have you even determined any? And I thought about it. This is where it came from, right? I realized I never determined any standards when it came to,
So the Blanco.
yeah,
My God.
Sonny Blanco, what up? I never put no standards up when it came to me getting in relationships. Now I put standards up in life, like how I deal with folks and don't deal with folks. But I realized that mentally I put in some standard. I put a line in the sand. But technically I don't ever I be jumping that line a lot. You know, when it come to something I like, I'll jump over the line for a second. When it comes to something I want, I jump over the line a second. And I was wondering, was it just me?
See, it's not you, but I can't say the problem is. Here's the thing. Around 1965, 1975, women began to choose. See, men used to choose prior to that. The father would say, "Hey, daughter, you're going to marry this guy. You're going to marry that guy," because the women were more, or your daughters were more property.
Uh-huh.
Now, in when the feminist movement comes along, what happens is now women choose.
Well,
Women get to leave relationships. Hold on, because before you couldn't leave a relationship. A woman couldn't even
wow.
open a bank account.
All right, before you continue,
Okay.
I'm not disputing it. We need some women. We need some
Yeah.
women to come in and
Hmm.
have the voice. Adrian, I wish you was available because I know you will shed some light on this. If you got a little moment, come on in because I
I
know you
think
can
I saw
shed
my
some
girl
light.
Rhonda tag in too,
Yeah,
somewhere around
tag on in because we need. I don't want it to just be male dominant in our viewpoint because I don't
there.
dispute your viewpoint. I
I
actually
have a, I have a statement I want to throw out there, Sean.
go ahead.
Women choose, then complain about their choice.
Woo! How y'all feel about that? Women choose and then complain about their choice.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you know what's interesting?
Mm.
I that has been something I've recognized. I observe. I'm in a stage in my life where I don't sit and judge. I observe, and then I share my observation. Fran, you wanna chime in? Adrian, you wanna chime in? I observe my observation, and I share my observation with those who I love or those on this platform just naturally. And what I find is when I get a lot of resistance, I question. I'm like, yo, why are you resisting? All I'm doing is showing you what it is that I observe. So if you have an issue with it, then your issue is what you're doing. It's not with
Truly,
me.
truly.
And man, boy, I get into so many heated debates behind that one.
I'm gonna tell
Woo!
you this. I'm gonna tell you this. Skinny jeans hanging off your ass. How are you getting? I'm gonna keep this PC. How are you getting sex? How is that attractive to a woman? Because the only reason that males are dressing like that is because women are accepting them dressed like that.
Well, that goes into
Now, hold
what?
on. Let me throw this out there
Uh-huh.
because in
I hate
1986,
Facebook.
if you would have put the same clothes on a person and transported them back to 1986, they would be ridiculed.
Bear,
I
that's
right?
unfair. Let me
Why
tell
is
you
that
why.
not fair?
Let me tell you why it's unfair. You saw Beat Street. You saw Breaking. You saw
Hmm.
Our Style. They were in skinny jeans. We just didn't call it skinny jeans. We called it straight leg.
They didn't have skinny jeans hanging off of their asses.
We could argue hanging off the asses, okay, but the point is that we sit there and we judge them little them young cats who doing it now, but us older cats we did it then.
No, but there's a difference between fashion and freakiness.
I won't get into that one. You're right.
I was raised being fashionable. So when I saw Cool Mo D and all the rest of them, and even when I saw Parliament Funkadelic, I understood there was a man in a diaper. But you Negroes is out here running around with your diapers showing.
Nope. Wait. That's unfair again.
How is that unfair?
As Mike just said, Live Club Night. We had Dr. Dre. He was wearing makeup and lipstick. We had Prince, who was
No.
that was
You're talking
freakiness.
about nah, yep, no, but wait a minute. You're talking about entertainers. We're not talking about entertainers. We're talking about the common dude that wakes up every day, goes to work, and then on the weekends he wanna come out, get a Louis Vuitton with the thing down below his ass, and girls are thinking that's sexy, which is further perpetuating it. So what do you think?
There.
It's going to get lower and lower to your whole.
Hold up.
Okay.
In LA, I came out here in LA. First time
Mm-hmm.
I got out here, Prince was the shit. And I had regular men that I saw, and it was strange to me because I just came from New York. Regular men
Mm-hmm.
in perms and studded leather suits. So I can't say that did not happen in our generation.
Pimps and wannabe entertainers dressed to the occasion, and I understand that because out in LA is a different world. You and I coming from New York, even when we were kids or when we were younger, when we saw that, completely different world. Okay,
Agreed.
so when I see, put it like this, I remember. Who's old enough to remember Chess King in the Fox Hills Mall?
I remember that.
Okay. Now, everybody there was wearing the little coats with the little pants tight, little svelte kind of, but that's something you could wear in California because more often than not, California was cold. California was warm.
True.
You wasn't gonna really wear that back east, but that's fashion. There's a difference between fashion and faking the funk.
You're right. See the way I look at it, and the reason why I keep on saying it ain't fair, because straight up, it would be hypocritical of me to judge these young cats on their fashion when our fashion was suspect at times as well. I mean, think about it. In New York, we had nylons, but nylons you see through that you see your bare
Uh-huh.
chest, and we,
Yeah.
we rocked it.
And it was 95 degrees in Brooklyn.
Agreed. But now you if
So
you
it was
if
the best thing to wear other than going out naked.
I can't dispute that. But I'm saying if you saw it today with some skinny jeans, it'll be real questionable.
No, it wasn't.
Really.
It skinny jeans, a nylon see-through, and a man purse with 15 different colors hair, and your hair's not combed, and you got tattoos up the side of your face and your neck. Hey, if that's the way you want to present your life, you're right. I'm not going to argue about it. But don't you tell me that's normal.
Well,
Not
wait. That's
or
where.
acceptable to
Well,
everybody.
that's my point. Nothing's never been acceptable for everybody. The
Okay.
styles we had wasn't acceptable to some people. The styles
To our
people out here,
parents.
So we start judging when we start, thinking about, is that acceptable or not? When we draw that line that, oh, I can't deal with that. And the way I look at it, I ain't disputing that there's a feminine, um,
Have
there's a
Sean, have you seen these people showing up in church wearing half clothes? Like they're not, like they went from the club, like they went from the club straight to church.
Yeah. But again,
Nah,
I seen it back in the days.
you seen it back in whose
Yeah,
days? Because
back
they're
in
not.
that. You ever saw a woman of the night go to church? I've seen it
Listen, you couldn't even wear red lipstick.
in some churches. You're right.
In most churches, you
And
couldn't wear red lipstick.
I can't even. We're talking 70s now, which when you couldn't wear the red lipstick. Going into the 80s, it started
90s.
transitioning. 90s, you could wear red lipstick.
I was Seventh-day Adventist. You wasn't gonna wear no red lipstick. Nor was you
That's
gonna
a
clap.
whole nother topic. Seven-Day
Yeah,
Adventist, you
no.
wasn't gonna wear nothing.
Yeah. Nor were you gonna clap your hands and
Yeah.
raise your voice.
So we can't go, but Adrian just said Houdini was full out from Brooklyn.
We know that,
And
but he dressed. But how did he dress?
that's what she said. He dressed it in studs and leather. God rest his soul, ecstasy. That's my man. But if you were to just question the fashion and put the fashion then of what they was wearing into something today, it will be suspect just as much as we're questioning their fashion.
If you were not a celebrity, that's when it became questionable. You dressed like Little Richard and then you went to the mechanic shop job you had, that's a problem. You dress like Little Richard and then you go do 4 nights at the Apollo, different.
Good point.
These cats are
Good point.
dressing like Little Richard and going to McDonald's to work. And honestly, I don't know whether to say thank you, sir, thank you, ma'am. So I just say thank you at this point.
Yeah, and Mike just made a point. He said a lot of folks were gay and in the closet, so they wasn't able to come out. Grant.
And now they're out of the closet now. And now it's almost a badge because I think a lot of black children, that's probably the safest way that they can survive.
They're protected. They're well protected.
The
Well protected.
LGBTQ XYZ community is very protected.
They're very protected, and let me put this disclaimer out there. We have no issues here on this platform with that community. That's your thing. That's your choice.
That shouldn't even have to be a disclaimer because if you know that who we are and how we get down, to even have to throw that disclaimer out there means you don't even need to be in this conversation.
You can say that again. You can say that again. But let's get
Yeah,
back into the
yeah.
topic. Requirements and standards. I done invited a couple of the ladies who were here. They haven't decided to join. They couldn't join. Because we do want to get some women's opinion.
Because it's their standards that we're about to wreck. That's why they're not joining.
Man,
See, short, you can't get you're not really going to get them to join because then they will have to defend their choices and their standards. So, not saying any of the individuals that you called, but you know,
well, I will say this. I know Adrian will definitely hold us down. She's just not available right now. She said that
mhm.
early on. And she will, because that was the subject she brought up last week, Connor. She said, something you said with the dressing. She said a producer or a friend of hers told her that if we didn't like to be, I think he said, if women, if you didn't like to be degraded or called certain things derogatory, then why are you dancing to the music that emphasizes it? And I said one day we're gonna get on that. So next week we're gonna probably talk about that with her.
Mhm.
Sean Kennedy
What
is going down. So but she said I can't get on right now. Trust, he ain't wrecking nothing with me. I see. I told you. I understand, and she definitely will hold her own. But this is a
mhm.
debate scenario. This is a conversation, a straight talk. We want to hear your viewpoint. We want to hear. That's why I'm inviting the ladies up, because I want to hear your viewpoints on some of the things. Now,
Yeah, I
I
want to
got,
hear how you got 3 baby daddies and didn't vet them accordingly.
and
That's what I want to know.
that's part of why I brought up the topic. Do we have
Yeah,
standards?
because part of vetting is the standard.
Absolutely.
Vetting them is finding out if you reach that, or if you reach or you can attain that standard. You're not vetting dudes. He looked good, his pants is around his man, he looked fashionable, he got some gold, he got some hustle. Come on, that's been since the turn. And I call the turn happened back in the 70s when women started choosing, because then women started choosing all that blindy blingy stuff.
Well, you know what's funny? Let's really
And
get to,
that's when the standards went out the window.
let's get to the root of that. Let's get to the root of that. Cause
Okay.
man, we got a bunch of men. I need y'all ladies, come on in. But what you just said,
Listen, the ladies aren't going to come in until we start bashing them. If we leave an open conversation and say, come on in, mm-mm. So when we start bashing them, then they want to jump in and bash and change the conversation.
oh man.
Women in our community, in our society, are supposed to be the standard bearers of the relationship and of the direction of the relationship. And women, if you are not willing to do that, kick rocks.
Woo-wee.
Period.
Guess what? Let's go to the original point of what you said.
Okay.
When the control, or when they were put in a position to pick, because I like to go to the root and try and get a resolution to where some of the complications that we're going through right now arise. And you made a good point. Women got the ability to choose in relationships because the family structure was destroyed and was dismantled.
You know what? I'm gonna throw a movie out there that actually did it and did us under. Claudine.
Okay.
Let's
I don't
talk.
know if everybody's aware of that, but Claudine
No, no, no.
definitely.
Everybody, do your homework. Go watch Claudine. 7 kids. Dude comes over. He trying to get. How did that
Yeah.
happen?
And the funny thing is, are you holding the men accountable as well? Absolutely, we holding the men accountable. Men like Future, Nick Cannon, etc. Where are their
No, 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 no.
standards?
Whoa, 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 whoa. We not gonna put Nick Cannon out there like that,
Wait,
because Nick Cannon did not lie to his other baby mamas about the current baby mama. That's how y'all can't get down, because y'all can't understand a man telling you the truth.
let's build on that because you got a point. Now let's separate it and let's not generalize it, because when we
Okay.
generalize it, that's what happens with a lot of people. I will say I speak with a lot of women. A lot of women like to generalize who I speak with. They generalize when
Mhm.
I'm specifically being direct to them. They will kind of divert it and generalize it
Yes.
and say something general, and I always have to circle back and say no, I'm not talking generally, and usually I'm talking directly to them. I'm like, yo,
Hmm.
I'm not talking about what someone else did or what you did with someone else. I'm talking about what you did specifically.
I want to know how your baby daddy got the kitty cat.
And that's kind of
That's what
where,
I want to know.
because the reason why this came up, in my opinion, because I was listening to somebody and they said, yo, when the women set the market value for the kitty cat, and when in fact the men, they know the men, that's what the men are in pursuit of most of the time, and when they allow somebody to just get it with no effort just because they look good, the person who is ready to put in the effort is looking like, yo, why do I got to put in effort if that cat didn't do it? Why I got to put,
Yeah.
put some money down
Yeah.
and take you out and wine and dine you when all he
Yeah.
had to do was call you. Uh,
Hmm.
he sounds real
Be,
Kevin
be,
Samuels right now.
no, 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 no,
But
no, no.
wait,
Kevin Samuels is a coward. Don't
wait,
even do that.
wait. In fairness, let me say this. I I don't know how many people listen to Kevin Samuels or not. It's kind of like I'll say what Chuck D said. Don't say you understand until you hear the man. And quite frankly, I have listened to several episodes of that of Kevin Samuels, and most of the time, when somebody he said specifically, I reflect energy.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, "Yo, if you are cordial and we can have a conversation, I don't mind being wrong. I don't mind having a conversation, but I do want to be honest. And if you can counter what I'm saying, by all means, school me."
Okay, he's not being honest because he's hurt. Remember, Kevin Samuels' whole thing started coming off of because he had to pay child support. None of you Negroes have to pay child support if you take your child. Take your child. You don't have to pay child support.
Woo. Well, I don't know
Take
the
your
history.
child.
I don't know the history on Kevin Samuels, but
Oh, no, but I do. That's what I'm saying. When Kevin Samuels first came on, his whole beef was about child support. That was his beef.
okay.
And then he changed his platform where women became the focal point. But the conversation was wrong because as men talking to men, we need to be talking about how we're raising our standards. He's not doing that. He basically just he mad at the fact that his baby mama chose him to have a baby. He didn't look that good or suave back then. You can stop that, Kevin. You didn't look a good or suave back then, and she took advantage of you, or you were taken advantage of. But you allowed yourself to be taken advantage of. And most men allow themselves to be taken advantage of. And the reason they allow themselves to be taken advantage of is because, one, in American society, not to have a woman means you're not a man. And two, if you ain't getting no nana, you're not a man.
Wow, that's interesting. Let me build on that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, the point that I was making is that when they value, because it might have been Kevin that I heard this, um, and he made a good point. No, he liked men and women, uh, and well, but these sound like generalizations on your part. Um,
No, they're not generalizations.
some, but
Who's
let me
these?
finish reading the comments. Some
Oh,
like
sorry.
myself, I don't know or surround myself by women who don't hold themselves to a certain standard. Who are these women? Wait, let me. I would love to speak with these women because I would love to challenge these women. Because quite frankly, Adrian, um, that's not always true. And I'm talking specifically. I will ask them specifically, have you ever given a na-na to somebody who didn't put in work? And 90%, if not more, would have to say yes because they're attracted to it. You are what you attract. Right. But you attract, when you go on attraction, you're not going on standards. That's the point that I'm making. You're going on attraction. You're going on your feelings and how that person made you feel. You're not going on the standard of whatever it is you set. Probably because most of us haven't intentionally set standard. We speak about
That's
it.
true.
We might think about it, but have we actually said, yo, you know what? This is
Oh,
what I will not tolerate or deal with no matter
I'm
what.
I'm going to bring you a perfect example around the corner. I would never fuck with a man that called me a bitch. But meanwhile, your favorite MC shows up and all his song is bitch, 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 bitch. But you won't accept a man calling you that. But you just weird. I'm
Man,
confused.
that segues into a whole nother topic. Wow.
Yeah,
And
another
let
topic.
me get into that topic though, because I have a issue with women calling each other bitches. Big boss bitch, uh maid, all this other, because quite frankly, that's like us, you know,
With the N word.
yeah, with the N
It's
word.
like us with the N word.
Absolutely. And I said, well, let a man of Caucasian persuasion come up to one of us and say, big boss. N-word. Those are
Yep.
fighting words. But yet we go ahead and and we that's a touchy subject, but in both scenarios, we got to do better. We got to raise our standards to your point that you just made earlier. And at this point, it's up to men to help men raise their standards, and it's up to women to help women raise their standards. Because our conflict is that the women don't listen to men, and the men don't listen to women.
Well, I'm gonna take that back one step further to that, Claudine. If you're a woman and you have not had, and I won't say just a father, but I'll say a positive male influence while you're growing up, how are you going to tell me what a man is? How are you going to go out into the world and search for a man when you don't even know what one looks like? So you're out searching for a raccoon and you bring home a rat. And now you like, I got a raccoon. And all your girlfriends like, no, sis, that's a rat.
Stop. No, all your girlfriends are like, that's a beautiful raccoon.
You know what? You know what? That's a rat, but I think you can make him a raccoon.
There you go.
There
Now,
you go.
women, ladies, can anybody chime in? I don't see. Let me see. We got how many ladies we got? Anybody, just join us. Come on in. I know Adrian's over there mad at whatever she got to do.
Hmm.
Chrissy, I see you. Chrissy says she don't like when men say SMD to other men. Chrissy, guess what?
Oh,
We
I
don't
can,
either. We don't
no,
either.
I don't either.
Yeah,
That'll get this across your mouth fast. I
yeah,
don't even know if I'm gonna win the fight. I just know this is gonna come fast.
yeah. So Chrissy, that we
Yeah,
understand that. And the
yeah,
funny thing is, back in the days, it used to be said for derogatory or as fighting words, so to speak. But when you look at the whole concept and the whole idea of it, we didn't even check ourselves on that.
yeah. Well, Harlem, everybody started going pause. You couldn't even say you damn sure can't say SMD, or be like I'm gonna come soon. Pause.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I
Mm,
hear that. I hate that pause thing. I hate because you know why? Because I ain't got to pause. I know what I am. If you got to say pause to me, you're suspect, or you think you suspect, or when I say something that might have the insinuations, I don't even think to say pause, because then I don't think that I'm not. I don't even think that there's something that can be thought about me because I know that's not me. So
yeah,
that whole pause game, and think
yeah.
about who started it. Was it Puff? Was it no Dame
No,
Dash?
that was Dave.
Dame
That was
Dash.
Dave. But see, in Harlem, that was more of a verbal game.
Okay.
In Harlem, it was more of a verbal game.
And I understood the game, but then it became just saturated to the point where it just yo pause. Oh, pause. I'm like, yo, what? I, what happened is why I got frustrated with it is because I'm sitting there having a real conversation, and in my conversation, somebody saying pause, and I'm like, nigga, what are you talking about, man? Yo, stop.
Oh well. See, if but you're right. If I'm having a real conversation and you throw it in pause, I'm gonna tell you to shut up because that is actually just a verbal game from Harlem. Then I'm gonna ask, "Are you from Harlem? Where did you get it?" So I'm just gonna shut that person down and shut him up.
Right,
But
right, right.
that's like a verbal thing, and then Puffy can't say pause because Puffy's not the pause.
We won't get into that one because
Yeah, we won't get
what
into that
what
one.
Mike said earlier, and Mike, I want to address this. He said what we was wrong about, what he was talking about was Ye. He was talking about the two-letter guy, and he said he's been that way consistently all his life, and he's from Chicago. But this is to the point that you're making, Mike. He has been diagnosed with bipolar, and that bipolar diagnosis was not something that we did back in the day. So he could be very consistent and That's what he was throughout the course of his life, but it was undiagnosed.
Yeah.
We can't say that because he was that way all his life means that he does not have any mental issues that he's facing, because he actually has been diagnosed with mental issues that he's facing.
Yeah. Basically, and his mental issue is ego. It's egotistical. That's
Well,
all it is.
well, you know
I could
what?
talk. Listen, bruh. See, listen. See, I'm a real life cat. Get up, gotta figure out how you gonna feed the family, feed the people, keep the roof over their head. I'm a real life cat. So I'm not impressed by basketball players, because niggas, you just play basketball all day. I'm not concerned with that. I'm not concerned with entertainers, because all you do is jangalang all day. I'm interested in cats that got to get up, go out there, get theirs, get home safely with $5 or 5 cents in a pocket. Those are the cats who I'm speaking for.
Okay,
I'm not. I really don't care about. Yo, I play ball. I made $30 million, nigga.
okay.
Fuck you.
And
Excuse my language, but
fairness, what Mike said, he brought up a very good point. He said his parents raised him that way, and quite raised him with confidence. And
mm-hmm.
quite frankly, there is a fine line between confidence and
Conceit and conceit.
and conceit, or yeah, and confidence and arrogance is the word I was looking for. There's a
Gotcha.
fine line between the two, and sometimes as celebrities we lose that line, or we
Mm-hmm.
that line doesn't become as definitive as it used to be. And as a entertainer, a former entertainer, I understand it, because you are hearing in one ear how wonderful you are 1,000 times a day, to where you start believing that you're wonderful. Now, the reason why I wouldn't say it's his ego is because when Kanye is checked, he usually humbles himself and says, okay, you know what? Or I apologize. Like, for example, Soldier Boy checked him, and Soldier Boy is now on his album. Sway
Mm-hmm.
checked him, and he apologized. You know what, Sway, you're right. Big Sean checked him, and now he's trying to get Big Sean, is, trying to resolve things with Big Sean. So that's why I can't say his confidence, which his confidence, and you got to realize, and another thing, he's had confidence for a long time. Ye is the only person who was brave enough to do a lot of the things he did. He went on live TV and questioned the president. That is,
He went on live TV with the shake. George Bush
it
don't like
doesn't
black.
matter. He said it, he was afraid to say it, but he did it, and nobody else did. Nobody.
But that didn't do anything for anybody except him.
Not true. Because guess what?
What did him getting on Saturday Night Live saying George Bush does not care about black people?
It,
What did that
wait,
do for black
it
people?
wasn't Saturday Night Live. One. It
Oh,
No. It
so
was
Saturday Night
a
Live.
live broadcast for a live
Oh,
aid
it was something
during
live.
the Katrina hurricane.
Oh yeah, that Katrina Live.
Right. And what it
Mhm.
did is it made George Bush go and see those people directly instead of just flying over them, which is what his point was, is that he didn't even have the dignity to go
Okay,
ahead
so out of
and land his
35
plane.
years, so out of 30, how old ever Kanye is, so out of 35 years of your life, you've used your celebrity simply to say George Bush doesn't like black
No,
people.
no. What I'm saying is that he had the balls to do it. And now, Shane, what up, Shane? He said, but he also bigged up Donald Trump. Guess what? So did a lot of people before Donald Trump was president. So now, all of a sudden, because you disagree with Donald Trump ways, or you disagree politically, now you ain't bigging up Donald Trump. That's some
I'm
bullshit.
trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out what Donald Trump did to you black folks that y'all hate him so
Well,
much.
well, shoot, put it this way: I ain't a Donald Trump supporter. I ain't a Donald Trump hater, and I've always said that. And what happens is what you just questioned, I question all the time. I'm like, yo, I understand
What is it?
some things he did that were questionable. I understand some things he said, like for example, Donald Trump, what he did, not as a president, but as a realtor, he didn't allow people to live in his apartment complexes or his buildings for some time.
If I got enough of them, I wouldn't allow them to live in ours either.
Well, that's why I can't agree with that because I'll be on you just like I'll be on him. That's some bull. But the
Well,
point
no,
is,
it is.
yeah.
It is. But this is the position in America that we're in. I don't have to hire other people, and they don't have to hire me.
Well, I'm not going to get into the political parts of that because I can understand that. But my point
Hmm.
is, this is what I commend about Ye specifically is who we was talking about is the fact that whether he's right or wrong, and
He can blurt out something on acid.
I even commend it with Donald Trump. Whether he's right or wrong, he says what he feels, which a lot of
This is
people
true.
do not do. I'd rather you. That's
This
what I
is
said
true.
about Trump. I'm like, I'd rather you tell me in any case I don't like you.
Exactly.
You are N word, whatever the case. Then hide it and act as if you do like me.
That's why I like living in the South.
And that's why I can't sit there and uh, 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 condemn the man for whatever choice he made, because guess what? I don't agree with nobody I know all the choices they make, including myself.
Exactly.
I don't agree with the choices I make sometimes, which goes
Hmm.
back to the
But you
point.
gotta live. But you know you gotta live through them. That's what makes you different.
Absolutely, and I know that even if I don't like it, I'm man enough and honest enough to say I messed up or this. I made a choice that was not a choice to my liking.
True.
Despite, I might be on, I didn't like the choice either, but I did it. Now what? That might be my attitude, which some people might not like. But the point is, I'm not going to fall back on what it is that the choice that I made because it was a mistake. I will own up to the mistake and move forward. And that's the thing about Ye that I was saying that I've noticed is that he goes through very confidently, and sometimes that confidence is misplaced and it comes off as arrogance. But when he
Yeah,
corrects,
because when you think you can turn a hoe into a housewife, you done overshot your target, bro.
woo, I ain't gonna go
You've
there.
never been.
But
You've never been. Now there are individuals who can handle people like that because they know how to handle people like that. I'm sorry, yeah, you don't know how to handle that woman. That woman was operating on a 60-year-old brain while you was operating on a 25-year-old brain.
nah, let's rewind. That woman was working on a 60-year-old,
Her mama, that's what I mean.
a 60-year-old Kit Kat brain, and he was
Ooh,
on a 25-year-old Yin Yang brain.
okay. And
Because
and I
yeah,
because the information and the advice that is being given to his wife, he does not have that anymore. His mama's not there.
and,
Do you see what I'm saying?
but in fairness, that's the reason why I identified it specifically as Cootie Cat and Yin Yang, because his brain operates a little further from what his mother. Then when it comes to life things and social things, a lot further and more mature than Chris and and what's it
But but
combined.
didn't he literally say, I read this and I actually just wanted to delete it or scroll past it when he literally said, I don't care who or how I just want her.
Well, guess what? I under put it this way. You let me. I can understand that. Let me tell you what.
You still ain't thinking about your kids and all of that
No,
BS with
but the point is that's what he's thinking about. He's saying I want her because that's the mother. I've already made the choice. messed up or not, I already made the choice. Now it ain't about me, it ain't about her, it's about our children. And I don't want our children to not have both of our guidance, or at least my guidance as a
Let
man.
me ask you this question.
What's up?
Is that his sperm or her eggs?
It's a combination. It's his sperm and
So
eggs.
they did the IV and then they implanted into the host.
I like I said.
And here's why, and here's why I want to say that, because I want to know at this point whose children those are.
Well, the funny thing is, I don't know that answer, but I was under the
Yeah.
assumption and the impression that it was both of theirs, and they just had to
Yeah.
carry it. But we ain't gonna get
Mhm.
into them only because
But that, but see, all of that wraps around to your standard.
that.
That motherfucker had no standard other than you get famous and leave your ass for a white girl. That's what you literally did. You literally sang that song. That literally was your standard. You achieved that standard, and now I'm supposed to feel bad for you? Fuck out of here. I'm
But
sorry,
the whole
but
thing is, I agree in reference to that was his standard, and that's where we are right now. And that was the topic of today. What are your standards slash requirements?
what was her standard? Now let's dig this. What was her standard?
But this is my point. This is the point that I'm gonna get to. I do not think either one of them had standards set or intentionally designed. And
She did because her mama. She did because her mama
point taken. Point taken.
knew what
Point
she
taken.
needed to do
Point
because her
taken.
mama knew what she needed to
Point
do.
taken. But now to that point, point taken. To that point, that's why I asked what are your standards and have you determined them also because are they then at that point when you have determined them, because I do believe yes, Chris did set standards for her daughters. Unfortunately, I think her standards was primarily get the man with the bag.
Yeah.
And that then sets off a whole nother uh, um, reason for all of the dysfunction on both parts because
Well, no, but see, I'm gonna tell you this. Now, you say get the man with the bag. How many Armenian friends do you and I have from LA that really got the bag? We know a cat. We know some cats in L.A.,
wait,
Beverly
wait, wait,
Hills,
wait, wait.
who have been living there. Who have been living there. Iranians who
True,
really have the bag.
but Bear, we can't.
Entertain.
Wait, Bear,
Okay.
we cannot discount that Kanye got a bag similar to that.
He's got the bag now. He did not have the bag then.
And
Who had the bag?
wait. He did not have the billion, but yes, he did have the millions, and that was
Listen,
and
he was crying. No, he was crying about being broke
but
before,
crying about it and being it are two different things.
which is why she knew where he was, how he was, and if you can manipulate, it's like,
All right, we got Adrian. She coming on in. Huh? We gonna just
don't
be
get me.
quiet because it's 3:58. I'm gonna be quiet and let her talk before we say
Yeah,
anything.
let her run.
Before
Oh,
we
she
say
came up
anything, go ahead and talk,
with
Adrian,
the
because I know
jaws,
you're ready.
with the tight jaws.
No, no, I'm just like joining, I'm just listening, so I'm not fully like integrated into everything you were saying. I know you were talking about the Kanye West situation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I check out from him because I'm not a fan. So I'm just like, it is what it is. But as far as standards go, though, there's one thing I wanted to point out, though. You mentioned like Kim's standards or possibly Kris Jenner's standards for her children. I think that there is a difference between standards and agenda. I do think that they had an agenda. You know, she had a plan for her kids, right, wrong, or indifferent. But at the same time, that goes back to I just want to tie in something that was said earlier because I made the comment about, well, do we hold men at the same, like they should have standards as well, the futures, the Nick Cannons. You mentioned about Nick Cannon. Oh no, we're going to leave him out because he was honest. Well, I feel like everybody, it's been pretty blatant what Kim Kardashian or the Kardashians are about. So do you kind of give them a flag because they are honest
No,
about
because
what they go after?
no, because the individual that you were dealing with was mentally ill.
Okay, I'm not saying
That's
that.
why. That's why.
Wait, wait, wait. No.
Okay.
Let
So,
me answer it as well. One,
okay.
they didn't honestly say that. They implied it, and we just have taken it to, they never said, I'm after, I have an agenda to get a man with a bag. That's the difference
Well, but
between,
if it walks like a duck and it talks like a
but the
duck,
difference
then
is we can assume, and that's what we're doing. Nick Cannon
No,
there
I'm
was
not
no
assuming.
assumption. He directly said, and more importantly, let's forward further back with Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon
mhm.
actually waited to get married to Mariah before they had sex, which is unheard of, and that in itself sets another standard that no one has
But
ever.
that's one out of the six
That's why we
or
said we're
And
whatnot
not going
was
to
baby
get
that
mamas
married.
that he
Mariah's
has.
standard? And was that Mariah's standard or was that
Right.
Nick's standard? Because we know Mariah's already been married, so she's already had sex.
Right.
It was Nick's standard,
So, and
and
then you
now we
married Tommy Mottola, who was like 15 years your senior,
right.
but we're not going to talk about all that.
And to answer your question, Adrian, the other six, in my opinion, he decided to go in a different direction. And what he said is he wanted to populate and have children, and more importantly, uh, uh, children with women who might not have been privileged like a Mariah, who deserve to have the lifestyle of a Nick Cannon, and his
So now he so now he's a saint. I'm so confused
No,
because that's really no different than any other man that's going out and making a bunch of single black women or whatever they're
whoa, whoa,
mixed
whoa,
with,
whoa, whoa.
like
So you're
single
telling me age?
mothers.
but de-
So
wait,
How
you're
is
wait,
that
wait,
telling
any
wait,
me
wait,
age?
different?
wait,
I'm,
wait. They're not.
Because he has money, right?
Wait. They're not single mothers. Let's get it clear.
that's first
Let's
of
They're
make the
all,
not.
distinction. No, they're
they're
not.
not single
No,
mothers.
they're not. They're they have two household
They're co-parenting, right?
co-parenting, which is not a single
Okay.
mother, and we have to make that distinction and clarity because a lot of times we confuse that and they overlap and they're two different things. Just like
And we're
Okay, but
not,
I mean, right, but let's be honest. When you tick a box and it says, are you married, divorced, single? It does not have stipulations and conditions on what married or single
all
is.
right,
Point blank and period, they are
but
not married. He's not married to any of them. These are single women that now bear children by him. It is fine that he can
but
support them. That's all great, but it doesn't negate the fact that he's still doing the same
wait,
thing.
wait,
Now you're
so
saying
what's
he did it.
negative? I'm trying to
wait,
fear,
wait.
Adrian, I'm sorry, but I'm really want to hear what's negative about this because I haven't heard that yet.
Okay, but I want to know what's negative about it because I'll tell you what's negative about it. It goes back to what you said prior. You said prior, like 30 minutes ago in the conversation about a woman, and you said who has three kids by three different baby daddies, and it was literally a negative connotation. Now, what if
No, it
she
was
is
not.
what? Okay, all right. So my ears
No, in
deceive me.
fairness, yes,
But
yeah, wait,
so what?
there. In fairness, yes, it was.
It was.
You
So
said
let's
three
say she's
different, yeah,
It,
rich.
it
it
wasn't.
wasn't,
Yeah.
the
And
negative
you said it as if
connotation.
she didn't have
Okay,
standards.
no, 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 no. See, this is, no.
That's
You
literally what
got
you
three
said. I was
kids,
watching
three.
it.
Well, you did say it, but clarify what you meant.
Okay, let me clarify it. Let me clarify if I got it wrong. What
Okay.
if you have a child by different fathers? What vetting did you, the woman, do to allow that individual inside her to come inside her to have a child? And what vetting process did that occur? That's all I mean. That's all I'm talking
Okay.
about.
Got you.
Women, I know
And
women with multiple children.
Yeah,
I
who have
know they did not do
extenuating,
a vetting process. I got a
or
whole
who
bunch of
have
sisters,
or
and I
who
know they
have
did not do no vetting
extended,
process.
but there are others that have it like extenuating circumstances. They're widowers. Now they refound someone new and got married again. Some
We're not
who are
talking
separated.
about widowers.
Right. But what I'm
I'm not
saying
talking
is,
about a widower. I'm
right.
talking about a hood rat
But
that's got 3 kids, 3 baby daddies, and never took one bit of responsibility
right.
for those 3 for having
for
unprotected
those three
sex with
choices.
a lowlife
For those
or
three
with 3
Okay.
choices.
lowlives.
So what I'm saying, all I'm saying is in the connotation that you are speaking about women, are you holding those males like a Tristan Thompson or something
No,
like that to that
there's
same
no way. There's
standard?
Okay.
no way that I'm holding Tristan Thompson accountable because he did not take anything. It was given. And matter of fact,
Okay.
it wasn't given the
I got
first.
you.
It was given the first time. Then when she found out he cheated again, she gave it the second time.
No,
And
but
then
I'm
when
talking
she
about the
said,
other women that he's had
whoa,
babies by,
whoa, whoa,
including
whoa,
the
whoa,
new
whoa.
one.
We're talking about the one that he got the baby
Wait,
by
wait, wait,
because
wait,
she
wait.
He
found
has
out about
three.
all of
He
these.
has
Wait.
three.
Let me
I
chime in.
didn't get to the third one.
Wait, let me chime in. To answer your question, Adrian, I'm not speaking for Bear. I'm speaking for Sean. Yes, I hold him accountable too. Yes, I have the negative connotation to him as well of being the hood, whatever you want to call him. Just
Same, yeah, same
absolutely.
name.
But I still stand on Nick's scenario. I can't hold him to the same
Standard.
standards as Tristan because Tristan and Nick are two different characters. Nick
And
actually had some integrity about how he deals with his relationships, whereas Tristan did not. And to
I can agree with that.
and
But Nick also recently just came out and said that he was addicted to sex. So that is a stark contrast to where he began in saying he wanted to be Noah, in essence, or Moses, and populate the earth. He then came back. Yeah, he did. Should
well,
I find the article for you?
no,
well, well,
He
that
recently came back and
you
said
know that's
then
how
now
the
he had to talk
but
to
see,
his
do you know
therapist.
that's how humanity was populated?
You're,
wait,
oh
wait,
my
wait, wait,
God.
wait,
So,
wait, 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 wait. To both of
This
y'all
is how
so
points.
humanity was
Wait,
populated.
first of all, we have enough of a population. So
No,
that's
we
not the
don't.
reason to do it for.
No,
So
we
my point
don't.
is, okay. So my point, no, the largest demographic that is dying out is actually white people. It is actually not, yeah. So that's not what Nick Cannon is doing right now. So please,
Wait,
the
wait, wait.
Hotep view,
Let
I'm not here for the Hotep view. I'm
wait,
not.
wait,
You're never gonna get
wait,
me on
wait,
board with
wait,
that.
wait, 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 wait. Let me
prior
let
to
me interrupt.
America,
Let,
prior to black folks being in America, what we had was a tribal base. So that one individual that could afford more than one wife, it wasn't about the man going out and finding more wives. Do you understand that the first wife finds the second wife? The first wife finds the third and fourth wife. So culturally, we're not even going to get into that
wait.
because that.
Bear, great point.
Mm.
But the question is that Adrian just posed indirectly is if he had that, if he was doing it that way, maybe we would have something to stand on. But was that
he
his
had
intention?
he had I think more or less like 8 children in a short amount of time.
I don't know
What was it?
current circumstances.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, while you're having these 8 children, I'm a man. I've been a man with money. I've been a man with in the game. I've seen that man up there turn down a lot of, but that's not the issue. The issue is not what you're turning down, it's what you're given. Nick did not take anything. He was given.
Wait,
He
wait,
also
wait,
has the
wait,
he
wait,
also has the ability to say no.
wait,
Just because
wait,
you're
wait,
given
wait, wait,
something
wait,
doesn't
wait,
mean
wait.
one has to
Adrian,
accept
Adrian,
it and continue to
but
populate.
Adrian, wait, he just said that he has saw Nick say no to a lot of people. So he does
Right,
exercise that
but
ability.
not enough. You have 8 children in a 2 month or
Well,
whatever,
I
four of
mean,
them in a 2 month
So,
span.
Adrian, what I'm
And your
understanding here,
reasoning for
Adrian.
justifying it doesn't
So,
make sense when he then came out and said that he was a sex addict and had to go to therapy.
But,
and then he said he was going to be celibate, and then he ended up not being, and now having the next one. Like, I can't get with it. I can't get with that.
Wait. But I hear you. And if he's admitting to a problem, and that problem he's going to try and get, he's trying to get help on it, and he has a relapse on that problem, and we're sitting here judging him, but intentionally, because he can have sex without having babies.
Right.
So, and I'm sure he has. But the point is that because he has babies and he admitted to being a sex addict, doesn't mean that he's reckless all the time with his dick.
Because he's taking care of those children.
But
I know motherfuckers talk about one child and they taking care of one of them.
Okay, I can get with that. So now correlating that back to women, what if you have a woman in a similar situation and she is taking care of her children, but you managed to call her a hood rat and ratchet?
Let me.
I'm just trying to understand. The math isn't mathing.
You managed to call Nick saying he was chasing his dick.
Well, I never said that because I don't use that kind of language. But nonetheless, my point is you are being hypocritical in what you said. She's a hood rat. She was ratchet with 3 baby daddies.
Say this: women have the choice. Unless that person got raped, the woman gave up her sex.
Okay, so if she did,
so
and
regardless
she is,
of what I say,
wait.
I'm a blue Martian baby with $1 billion, and I can take you around the world, my love. You believe that?
I got a question. What if she's a sugar mama and she's like, I don't care about nothing. I got money. I can take care of my own. And this is what I choose to do. You still, majority of the time in society, the woman still gets a bad rap. I'm not saying where I stand on that.
And you've given Nick Cannon a bad rap for having 8 kids that he can take care of.
It's not just about a bad rap. I'm calling out the hypocrisy in what you're saying as it correlates to a woman in a similar position.
Here. Because a man cannot have a child. A man can't have a child, so there's no hypocrisy here.
Wait.
Also, a man can't tell a woman when or if not to have that child. That's up to you. So if it's up to you, the 8 children are up to the 8 women. Because you can't get no pussy if it's not given to you unless you take it.
Okay, so you're negating all accountability or responsibility for him being a grown ass man.
Well, Adrian,
because just because a woman,
yes.
Okay.
Even swap ain't no swindle, sweetheart.
Right. So then this is where then also you guys become victims when it comes to a woman traps the man.
Because then we pay child support for babies that's not ours.
Gotcha.
Wait.
Then we pay
Wait.
We pay child support.
But then that comes into extenuating circumstances because that doesn't always happen.
Those extenuating circumstances.
Right, but when I introduced extenuating circumstances, you said that's neither here nor there. No. I'm saying what you're saying, that's an extenuating circumstances. Like that does not always happen. So my point is, you're literally just. I feel like you're just picking in the air.
3 of them it's happened to.
Wait.
I'm sorry. What was that?
You said that to men it'll happen more often, and I'm saying if you find 4 women, 3 of them have children by cats that he's not good, or he was a piece of ass, he was this, that, or the third, but you had children by him.
Okay, so let me say something to that.
But I'm not supposed to be.
I know, but I want to say something to that because I'm one of those people. I have 2 kids by one guy who I was married to. One person who beat the shit out of me, who was actually bipolar. That I made a conscious decision to get out of a relationship because I had 2 daughters.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Was this the first child or the second child?
What do you mean?
So you had a second child
with
him after he started beating your ass from the first child?
No, my kids are only literally a year apart in 5 days. I've known him since I was 11 years old. He was diagnosed bipolar later on in life, which we did not know. And I've known him my entire life. This is what I mean by extenuating circumstances. I have no other children after that. I have no other baby daddies. It's my ex-husband who I have a kid by. My point is, you're sitting here and just, I feel like back to when it comes to men, you're saying we can't generalize, but with women, everything that's coming out of your mouth is a generalization. And I'm poking holes in that argument because I'm like, how dare you sit up here and say things like, oh, she's ratchet, she's this, she's that, and every other kind of like language you're using as it pertains to a woman, but you're not holding the man accountable when it takes two people to make a child. Get
But
out
it
of
takes
here.
one
It takes two.
person to agree to it.
Get out
And
of
it's the
here,
woman
sir.
that it
Because
takes
I
the
know,
woman to agree with.
but let me tell you, I know men for a fact who have tried to trap women. I have known men who have sat up there and tee-heed at poking holes to try to trap a woman because they also wanted to be cast.
I'm next.
Get out of here, sir.
I'm next.
Get out of here. I'm not hearing that.
All right, wait, I'm next. To the point, Bear, you just made, and Adrian, you just made. One, you said only one person makes the choice. Bullshit. Because he didn't have, he didn't
The
have,
mother makes the choice to have the kid, and the mother makes the choice to give up her sex. Yes,
no,
period.
because guess what? You didn't have to put your dick in her.
That
You
part.
made that
Stop
choice.
that.
You
Yes,
made
you
that choice.
do.
You didn't
It is
have to come in her.
it's hardwired.
You did not have
It
to
is
come in her.
hardwired into us
You did not
more
have to.
often than not to do that.
Bear.
Get out of here. So that means that you have no self-control. And I will refuse to believe that. Because I have because I have many upstanding men in my family who actually have self-control. I'm sorry if you don't, but I don't believe that, and I'm not gonna concede to that. That is an ignorant statement to sit up there and say men are hardwired to lack self-control. Because then you would have a bunch of men running around doing God knows whatever with God knows who. That's
why we have
Get out of here. You're giving them an excuse to go out and do, and it's a barbaric Neanderthalish way of thinking. It is not. It's not.
Men are here to genetically men are here to populate the planet. That's why.
And that don't mean populating it with 80 different women. You can populate like my grandmother had 5 children by the same man. It doesn't mean by populating it by Sarah Stu, Africa. You're not in Africa,
and
sir. You're in America. You're
Ooh,
not in Africa.
See,
you weren't asked to populate.
You hear that?
You weren't asked to populate.
Now I'm not African.
See, and now I'm an American. No. But here's the thing. This is what people do when they actually run out of argument. You're trying to pick what I'm saying.
I've never ran out of an argument.
But I never said you weren't African. So stop honing in on things I didn't say and listen to what I'm actually saying. You're not in a tribe that requires you to have to populate is what I'm saying. You are actually an American.
Yes,
I didn't get the fact that you are African, of African descent. That was not my argument. So you chose to hone in on that, and that's not what I said. I said you're not in a tribal situation
that
requires you for survival to keep populating.
that we had before we were brought to America and taught Christianity and monogamy.
Which I agree with you. Right, I agree with you in that situation. But most of these men that are out here populating are not taking care of the children that they are populating.
And how can you populate if the woman is not giving up the sex? You can't populate nothing. So
okay,
the same thing.
What were you saying?
There's one running around here. Your pants. You bring a boy to my house. His pants is hanging off his ass. He's cool. He's hip.
Well, wait. Now,
and you having children by?
I don't know where we're going with that. Clothing now determines whether you can take care of a kid. That's a weird argument. Go ahead, Sean.
That's not a weird argument.
His pants determine whether he can take care of a kid. That's a weird argument.
His pants determine whether he's a respectable individual to come into my house and cross my threshold.
Okay, but see, that's still subjective because I could look at you and say, but wait, no, because I can look at you on the other end of the screen and think that you have Neanderthal viewpoints and that you're not somebody that somebody should populate with. So you cannot say just by the way somebody looks, they shouldn't be populated or they're not going to take care of children.
Yes,
because I can have the same, but I can have the same perspective about you and say you have barbaric views. And I don't think you should
do about it? That's the difference between men and women.
Okay.
You're not my responsibility. You're your own responsibility. Go ahead, Sean. I'm sorry, we're talking over you. What were you saying?
It's my mama's fault.
Okay. Now let me interrupt here. First off, that was a great discussion. I want y'all both to kind of take a breath. Y'all both had some points, but I wanna emphasize some of the points that I heard y'all each make. Um, to I'll start with to your point, Adrian. There is hypocrisy that us men do have. To your point, Bear, men do have a responsibility to do certain things, and it's lost in our cultural way here in America, and it's getting further and further lost when one, as Luce just said to me, we don't listen to one another. And right now it's just a great display of not really listening and talking to your points. And I was sitting here listening to both of y'all. And both of y'all had some interesting and sometimes very poignant points. But unfortunately, because we don't always get the opportunity to, or we don't take the opportunity to listen to the other person's point, we sometimes get lost. The point that Adrian was making, Bear, is that, yeah, we do have to take some men accountable for not being able to control their wee wee. The point that you made in reference to that is part of our genetics, I can dispute that because that's some bullshit. And I have controlled my wee wee, and that's not genetic. That's choice. And to the point that you was making, the same choice is the what he's talking about that women make when they choose to have these men have sex with them and impregnate them. Because if in fact they are women are the controllers of the sex, just like men are supposed to be the controllers of the choice on how to be married and engaging in marriage. Unfortunately, the roles have reversed on a lot of occasions and they have overlapped on a lot of occasions. And then we
Since the 70s.
Right, and then with those standards, because of those not identifying standards on either part, I feel like the topic was what are your standards and requirements, and have you determined any? That was the topic of the whole conversation. And to both of your points, I would argue that no, we haven't determined standards. No, we haven't determined requirements. And unfortunately, we haven't even listened to what might be good standards or requirements because we argue our points as opposed to setting standards.
Mm.
I can honestly say I set standards when I got older, when I realized that just accepting somebody because they were nice or they we saw eye to eye on the subject. No, that I really, that wasn't it. So it had to go deeper than that. So the depth that it took was to look into myself and go, what do I need? I know that I need intelligence, not just debatable points, but intelligence. I need somebody to speak certain realities or awarenesses into my life because I know how the fuck I am. You see what I'm saying? But not putting that as a standard just allows anybody in that door. It's kind of being, it's being the bouncer for your own club. You have to look at them. Nah, you're not going to make it in here today. And those processes in developing those standards, at that point is when you take accountability. When you create your standard, that point you create accountability.
All right. So, Bear, you just described that you have set some standards. Adrian, before you got on, I admitted that the reason why I came up with this topic is because I realized that I really didn't set any standards in my relationships. And now I'm going to pose a question to you. Have you set standards, and when did you do it if you did?
Yeah, I actually think standards obviously is it's subjective, to each individual, and a lot of times standards are shaped by or reshaped by your life experiences. So obviously, my standards as a teenager are going to be extremely different than my standards now as a 40-year-old woman. So yes, I did. I did. I think I was always raised to have a certain level of standards, just with, I mean, and Sean, you know my family. Like, we were always raised to have a certain level of standards. But at the same time, my standards were reshaped even after my experiences in my marriage. Somebody who I knew as a friend, who I got married to, then extenuating circumstances happened. There were things that, you know, I did say I need, like on the lower scale, I need someone humorous. Like I enjoy to laugh. I think it keeps me looking young. Most people don't know that I'm in my 40s. That is something that is important to me. Someone who shares the same goals as far as where we're going for the future. Yes, I have certain things that, you know, I believe in potential, but potential is not going to hold us. What is the plan? What is the route of action? And I need to see that you're implementing certain things so that we can build together. Yes, that's the standard of mine. You know, we're not going to be in it for the long haul just off of somebody with potential. You know, like, we need to have a plan of action together if we're building together. So, I mean, that amongst other things, I think my standards changed along the way. My standards at 18 are different than 25, different than my 30s, and different in my 40s. I added on, but I think that I always had a basis of things that respect, and certain things that there were hard no's. We talked about that last week. You know, hard knows that it was like, even when I dealt with my marriage situation and the domestic violence, I was not a victim. I was not one that was like, but it was a confusing moment, because I was like, this is a person that I've known my entire life who's displayed no signs of what they say are typical behaviors that lead up to one thinking one is going to become abusive. What happened? It turned out that he was diagnosed bipolar. There were things that he would black out and wouldn't even remember that he had to actually, they recommended lithium and all kind of stuff. But my standard was being like, out of respect for myself and having 2 daughters, I can't stay in this situation for me and my kids. I can co-parent with you, which, you know, that me and him talk and we are still good. And our kids are super well balanced. Like, despite they never saw the abuse, and I protected them that way. And I still was about him having a relationship with his kids, because he never did anything to them. But my standard was out of respect for myself, and seeing that I have to raise 2 daughters. Yeah, I can't stay in this situation, and I can't wait for the next time to see if and when you'll do that again, despite being bipolar. I can support you from a distance. So yeah, I did have standards. I would just say they evolved the older I got, and more experiences.
Okay. And the reason why I say that, because you are a different type and a different breed. And that's why I like to be specific as opposed to general. And that's why I'm glad that you came and joined us on this live, because I knew you will give specific perspectives that you have experienced. But the question goes to those, we spoke with you, we spoke with Bear, but in general, I think standards are not set, or are not intentionally followed, because there's a lot of people who have standards or claim to have standards and don't live by them.
Well, here's the thing. Can I ask a question, though? So again, like I said, standards are subjective. So the reason why I asked that, I think that much of where we are in society is shaped by media, you know, especially like this day and age with kids and stuff. It's by seeing who they see on TV and listen to, and what's being perpetuated through music and media. So when I say that, is that now has kind of become the bar that's set, unfortunately. But like, when you're in your own circle, right? Or you have a certain, like, for me, example, I can speak to myself. I don't see what is being displayed on media, through media and, you know, music. I mean, I'm in music, but I say it like in my circle. So when we speak of women in general, like, oh, she's ratchet and she's this, I don't hang around ratchet women. And I have some of the most beautiful, empowering women in my circle, which are amazing, that spiritually feed me. And like, we have amazing discussions that are phenomenal. I don't see the ratchet side of it. And all of these women have careers and standards. Some are married, some aren't by choice, whatever the case is. But I think that's why I say it's subjective. So society, I think, has set the bar really low for what we're looking at men and women as, right? So that's why you get so many kids nowadays. When I say kids, I mean that could be even in their 30s, but like people nowadays that talk to any kind of woman any kind of way. I got called a bitch not too long ago, and I said no, thank you. Okay, bitch, what? He don't know I have two master's degrees, the whole 9 years, and I don't need to go through all of that because I have nothing to prove to him. But where does that come from? We have to go back to the root of it, and the root is what they're being fed. You know what I mean?
I hear you, but I can't entirely leave it there because it's not what they're being fed. We've been fed that for our lifetime. We've been fed that, as he just mentioned, since Claudine. Claudine was
well, yeah, and Jim Crow.
Right.
It was to break up
so
the
I can't say that.
But you don't think that does a doozy? Even Jim Crow and all of the things dating back historically to break up the Black household, you don't think that is weighted in our standards?
Let me ask
a lot of people's standards?
Do I think that it is part of it? Yes. Do I think that's the major part of it? No. The major part of it is the fact that we haven't deliberately or intentionally set standards.
But can I ask you a question? When you say that, if someone has a ceiling, their standards are not going to look like someone else's ceiling. If my ceiling is here and someone else's ceiling is here, and this is all that they surround themselves by people that feed into keeping them here, their standards are not going to match somebody else's standards here.
Again, we have not set standards. If you know there's a ceiling there and you're still here and you're not setting it there for whatever reason, then you have not set the standard. And you can't.
But that's my point. Some people aren't cognizant
but that's our fault.
that there is. I'm not saying it's our fault, but what I'm saying is I think that it is something to be said that you're requesting people who aren't capable or don't even have, not capable, but don't have whatever, even if it's environmental or whatever, they don't see that there's an outlet.
Once again,
a higher
just
ceiling.
because you have not been exposed does not give you an excuse.
I agree with you. I just think especially that it should be factored.
But because it's available. Just because
I agree.
You made a choice not to embrace what's available. Again, that's part of my point. Is that's why we haven't even taken have you determined any? That was my second question. Have we determined any standards? No. Often. Not entirely. But those who don't have standards have not even thought to determine standards. I'm guilty of it. I just realized it 2 days ago when I came up with this subject. Like,
really?
Not even, and then I put two things that were standards of mine, and I haven't met anyone who can meet them. Honesty and transparency. Two standards.
We talked about that last week, right? The honesty.
And I haven't met anyone who offers both of those things. Go ahead, Bear. It's on you, Bear.
I'm going to throw this out there. When you come up with your standard, it's not going to be, to me, it's not immediately visible to you. It really isn't immediately visible to you. It kind of boils down to knowing what you want, where you're at. I mean, you have to do your self-inventory before you set your standard, first of all, because you can't be out here running around here looking like, Rollo from the wood pile and you trying to get Beyonce. So you really do need to know where you're at. But that self-inventory is what I did. And when I did that self-inventory, because at 53, 54, my birthday just passed, dating 40-something years, but not really understanding that like you, I had not made those determinations. You know what I mean? Who she is, like, I know it's got to be a black woman. You know what I'm saying? I had to literally make those decisions. She's got to be a black woman. She's got to be not just educated, but she has to have a functional education. Um, you know, definitely kids have to be of a certain age, because I'm not running around trying to be nobody's daddy at 54, and ain't nobody trying to listen to me as a daddy at 54, because I don't got time for the bullshit, because this generation is just, I need, go lay down. Go lay the fuck down or something like that. But that's how I was raised like that, but I was raised with a lot of honesty. So I understood it. So now my standard, I know I can have my standard, because as long as I'm being honest, I know if I'm sitting down, leave me alone every day. I sit down every day at 7 o'clock, smoke a blunt, watch Jeopardy. Hood rat is not going to understand that. I don't care how nice she is. I don't care how much understanding she is. Hood rat is not going to understand that. And the hood rat's not going to sit down and watch Jeopardy with me. Like I said, I've been doing that probably like 30 fucking years, but that's what I do. But honestly, that literally became one of my standards. If you can't watch it with me, leave me alone while I do it. But that's a standard. Education, that has to be a standard. They talk about finances. Finances have to be a standard, because most women, most sisters are not going to meet a cat of a certain age, got his own house, his own car, his own career, his own direction. May not be millionaire Kanye, but I'm on my own direction. So the person that I need in my life, the standard, has to have that.
Right. And to your point,
but that's then going back to being subjective. That goes back
Adrian,
to, you keep saying it, this general thing of like, we haven't set standards. Standards are subjective.
No, the whole thing is nobody's disputing. Adrian,
I'm not disputing that.
I'm saying, Sean, your thing when you were saying earlier.
Nobody, I never said that there's a standard for us all.
But you can, when I was saying about society, you were like, well, we haven't set standards, and I was talking about the ceiling. Like, his ceiling is here. He watches Jeopardy. Mind you, I watch it every single day. So yes, I get that. But someone else who is hood and who their standard is to have another girl who speaks like a girl who speaks their language is just who's a ride or die chick. That's their standard. Yours might be here and it's on a different line, and theirs might be here. That goes back to what I'm saying.
I'm not disputing subjective, but we need to make more, and this is part of where we have this disconnect, is because we allow subjectiveness instead of identifying what is, for example, your cup of tea might not be my cup of tea.
Right.
But it's a cup of tea. Is okay. Now hold it. But it's a cup of tea.
Is the standard that we're drinking.
That's it. That's what I'm talking about.
So
if champagne is the standard, Adrian,
I'm not telling you to drink your tea like I drink my tea. I'm not telling you to sweeten it. I'm saying we need to have tea. It's best for our health. It's best for our well-being. And so we need to come to a sense of, okay, this is what's going to be good for a human in our community. And never mind.
So then I think then the question that I need to ask you is, then that now goes back to your brother's keeper, and you need to go back into your community, and you're going to there has to be some level of education. And so in seasons of the community, you would have to. Now. Yeah, you would have to, because that's the only way to get everybody to be on the same page of that. Hey, guess what? Let's start with, we're all drinking tea. Right now, some people are drinking Hennessy.
Right.
They're not drinking tea.
And
so at what point do you get everybody, or how do you propose you get everybody on the same page to understand it's tea?
I don't have that answer, but part of the answer is what we're doing now is having a straight talk so we can have a better understanding. That's part of it. Now, in addition to that, I don't judge. If you want to put Hennessy in your tea, then so be it. But
There goes the
So
subjectiveness
my point
again.
is, we have to come up with ideas as a community.
Community.
but
To
Sean, can I say this?
yes,
Like Adrian, when you were raised, right? Were there things that you knew that you would not do?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Now, whoever set those standards, I'm not going to put a face on it. They set that standard for you because you knew you just wasn't going to go out in the world and do anything, right?
Right.
That's kind of all I'm saying.
Right. So that's what I'm
As a
saying, though.
mother, for your two daughters, I am
Right.
for damn sure you ain't gonna let them bring anybody in that motherfucking door.
And they don't. No,
Okay.
exactly.
And to my
Right.
point, they're not going to come in that door with the dude with the joint hanging around his lamp, looking like Lil Wayne with the tattoos on. I don't
Right.
care how much money he got. I don't
well,
think that's gonna
can I
walk in through
stop
your
there?
door.
Can I interrupt there? First
Huh.
off, we have to recognize that black excellence is not how much money you make.
I agree. And
Yeah,
I think that
that
that's a big thing that I see often will, like in rebuttals, even, well, he got more money than you. So that doesn't mean
And
anything.
so, but
That doesn't define character. That doesn't, that's
but
absolutely,
so
nothing.
he should be able. So when I hear that, I say so he should be able to afford a really good therapist.
At that part.
yeah.
That's the part. When I hear that, so my man, Ye, you need to sit down with a really good therapist
Right. But all the money
before
in the
you.
world doesn't make people accountable. It actually
Because
enables and amplifies a lot of your faults because you now have yes people around you and you have accessibility.
all they're
So,
waiting for
yeah.
him to do is crash and burn, which is kind of the subject that, well, kind of what happened with him and Jay in that,
Right.
because Jay wanting to talk to him on the big brother level did
Right.
not work
Yeah.
because you're here now. I can't bring you down. I gotta let you go be who you gonna be. I gotta let you out in this world. And now that he's out in this world, every destructive thing is happening to that black man. And he has enough money to buy a fucking island, go sit down and meditate and find out what's wrong with him.
So
But
I have a question, but this goes
that's
back
not
to
the case.
you're saying his choices and choosing, like when we were talking about his choice in Kim Kardashian, or he went out
Mm-hmm.
and got a white woman, this, that, and the
Mm-hmm.
other. When you're saying that there should be like this level of everybody should know we're drinking tea, per se, just using that analogy, do
Okay.
you think that, this is an honest question, do you think that is now our responsibility as a community, black community, to go back and educate him or get him and lift him up? Because you're saying with all the money he has, he could go get therapy, this, that, and the other. You can kind of know that, but just because you have accessibility doesn't mean you actually know how to be pointed in the right direction. So do you think that it is our responsibility to get everyone who may have a ceiling here or crabs in the barrel mentality and go back and save them so that we all are on the same page to know that we're all drinking tea?
Uh,
If if Let me throw this right out there, Sean. Saving them does not necessarily mean I have to jump in the ocean, swim to them, grab them, bring them back to the boat. Saving them may be throwing a life preserver, and if your dumb ass isn't smart enough to grab that life preserver, that's not my fault. I threw it to you.
Mm-hmm.
and I will say, is it our responsibility? Yes, as a community. Is it something that, like Bear just described, is it something that we're able to do? You could bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot make them drink, and you can't save somebody who's not going to grab the life raft. But is it our responsibility to throw the life raft? Absolutely.
I believe
Okay.
that.
So if that's the case, I would go back to what this whole topic was about and what we were talking about earlier with just even the responsibilities of men and women. Then instead of calling women hood rats and ratchet, I would think that then it is our responsibility then.
All the top 10 music does it.
No, 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 no. But you're an educated brother,
Well,
and you're saying it is now our responsibility to go in and throw that
and
life raft.
The
Then,
individuals that
then
are putting out the
you
music are educated.
and but that's them. What about you? So my point is, because they're doing it, there's a lot of people that do a lot of stuff. That's why we're talking about standards. That doesn't mean that you do it. So if you don't do it, where's your responsibility in going back and now educating your brothers and sisters and saying, this is ratchet or such and such mentality. Let's get here and get out of that crabs in a barrel mentality, and let's get you here. Like,
Okay,
let's
so let's
raise that
destroy. I'm
ceiling.
with you. I'm with you, Adrian. Let's destroy black radio.
Well, here's the thing. I've always been here. Like, I put my money in my art where my mouth is. Like, my daughter is an MC. She doesn't rap. She doesn't say cuss words. She doesn't rap. She talks about societal things, uplifting and empowering Black women. Like, we do. So, like, I don't endorse artists that necessarily do that. Like, I don't, like, I was a professional dancer for years, not a stripper. I always say that for anybody who's on it. I danced for a ton of famous artists. I was very selective about artists that I chose to tour with or dance with and this, that, and the other. So for me and my standards, I do that. So what I'm saying is, instead of just calling it out and saying, hey, these people are this because they're making certain decisions, then it would be for you to throw that life raft to that woman to let her know and empower her, or that man to hold him accountable. And we can't just throw out generalizations and say that's how men are wired or that's what women do. We then need to go and educate them. If their ceiling is here, we need to raise the bar. I'm just correlating it back to what the original conversation was.
I understand raising the bar, and I understand the conversation on standards, but we as parents and we as caregivers have to create that standard. Everything.
You're your brother's keeper or your sister's keeper, right?
Well, I don't know how much I can be my sister's keeper being a male, but I have enough sisters that
you can learn something from everybody.
I made this point earlier, and I'm going to reiterate it. Us brothers need to talk to the brothers, and ladies need to talk to the ladies, because ladies don't listen to brothers without conflict, and brothers don't listen to ladies without conflict. And it merely is because we don't respect each other enough to listen. And we need to learn to respect each other enough.
I wouldn't say everybody, but I get what you're saying.
Not, of course, it's not everybody. But the point is that in order for us to start putting the barrier, first and foremost, let's put it on respect. And we need to, men need to teach men what respect is, and women need to teach women what respect is. And then collectively, once that respect is there, we can have better conversations and respectable conversations, because now we're speaking to each other instead of at each other.
I agree with that. Yeah, I just think that there's so many variables in some of the words that we're using, and I'm not saying that it makes it wrong. I'm just saying, like, even levels of respect. You have somebody with a capped ceiling, their level of respect is you don't say ish about my hood or this, that, and the other. So I mean, again, there has to, like, that's why I keep saying standards are subjective. It's so hard.
All of these things start in the home, and they start with education, and all of these things start in the home.
I would actually say that, but I also I get you, but I kind of dispute that. So my BA was in journalism, and one of the very things that we always talked about is that there was about 80 at that time, and this is like a while ago, but there was about 85% of your messages that you are given is from media and outside environment. So you set a foundation for your kids in the home, and then they go out and they're either going to be re-educated by the surroundings and media messages, or, they're like, depending on what you did early on in their formative years, it's going to kind of make or break the situation. Those formative years are super, super important. So I say that to say, yeah, we can say it starts in the home. It does in the formative years. That's only a few years. But at the end of the day, there still has to be some accountability that we set, that, like, going back to the conversation that we're trying to have in a week or two about at what point do we hold artists, politicians, whoever accountable with some of the things that they're perpetuating. Media has always done a doozy on Black people. They love Black culture, but they do a doozy on Black people. They're never going to show us in the light that I feel majority of us are in. So my thing is, how do we go back and on BET or the Shade Room and change that? too many of us are feeding into that. So like that, I think that that's my thing of why I'm saying standards. It's I get it. It sounds great in Kumbayash, but there's so much
when,
work that needs to be done to unlearn and undo the Jim
but
Crow
when,
ish and everything else that's happened to get us to that, has gotten us to this point
Okay.
collectively.
I don't want to, because I know the next thing I'm saying is gonna just zero in on one person. But if you're talking standards, our music, our education, you know, wet ass pussy, those songs, that energy, and what happens is I came up in hip hop, the golden age,
Mm-hmm.
and there were a lot of things being said, and there was, I mean, even, you know, Luke parties where, you know, pop the
Right.
coochie parties. And
Yeah. Frequently.
I see now where it's come. And I don't regret a lot of things, but I might regret that. Because where I see music as being that conversation of the community is going to
Mm-hmm.
come through our music. And right now, the conversation in our community that's coming through our music ain't nowhere near good.
I agree.
And
I agree.
I would say I say mainstream music, right? Mainstream music, right?
yes,
And you got
and
to
hundred
that's
realize
why
percent.
what we're
that's
talking
when I
about.
say let's destroy black
Right.
radio. Because
And
to me,
and I don't dispute.
And black radio is, we know, funded by white dollars.
Well,
So it's we really have to get
that's
to
a very good
the
point,
roots.
and it segues into what I was gonna the point that I was gonna make. It is one, black radio is not owned by black folks and run by
Mm-hmm.
black folks. Neither is black media, neither is black television, and so on. And so
Right.
what we need to do, and this is just my opinion, is segregate our dollars in our communities to where we can first and foremost be able to have black radio, be able to
Mm-hmm.
own black media, etc., to where we can direct it. Now we have a couple of people who are doing that somewhat, but their standard is to just uh, uh, employ black people.
mm-hmm,
And unfortunately, it takes beyond just employing black
Mm-hmm.
people, and especially when
Mm-hmm.
you're in a position to employ black people. It takes employing the black people that you are in position to do so, but also educating and or financing the education to where you can direct where they get educated from, because education
Mm-hmm.
is not only the key, because if we go deeper into that, where you get educated becomes a part of the discrepancy. And
I
so
need
Yeah. Goes back to
HBCU.
back to the oppressor,
right,
right?
right. So the reason why I use segregation is because until we are able to finance and direct what all of these titles of black music, black power, black whatever, and actually control and direct it, it's no point in speaking about it. We have to
That's the
first,
thing. So the key is ownership.
right,
We
but
don't own
right,
any of
and
it.
the funny thing
But
is,
you know what
we do
because
own,
the number
we do
we
own.
do own because a lot of the artists now are under
Right.
black management.
Yeah.
And again, we do own, but the standards of the owners need to be increased. That's the
I
problem.
agree.
We own,
That's true.
but what their standards are is what I just said. Their standards are just to employ.
I agree. Yeah.
And so we now have
Mm-hmm.
to challenge them to hire their standard while we getting these people who are the hood rats and so on to hire their standard. And we got to keep on elevating the standards of everybody. Just because you have made money does not make it excellent. And we need to establish excellence on each tier so that excellence can increase and grow, as opposed to having a ceiling, which right now we have ceilings on all of these different places. Oprah is our ceiling. Tyler is our ceiling. No, we need to go beyond that. We need to question and challenge Oprah. Oprah, why are you creating schools in Africa instead of creating schools here in America? Why are you funding
Listen,
schools?
yeah,
So we have to challenge our ceilings
I
to
agree.
go higher, and we're not
To
doing
go
that.
high.
We have to
Can
challenge
I
our
agree
somebody
rapper
with you.
call?
ceilings, our sports ceilings, the Tristans. Tristan, why are you having so many babies out of wedlock? Kanye, why are you not doing blah 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 blah? We have to challenge our ceilings to go further, so
Yeah.
that our sub levels can continue to elevate too.
I
Can I
think what
tell you?
happened.
Oh, sorry. What were you saying? I was just
Go
on what
ahead.
you said. It's so funny, and this was just a story, anecdotal, but um, it applied to what I was doing at the time. Michael Jackson. I was auditioning for This Is It. And it was so funny because I made it down to the last 17 girls out of 2,000 people. I say this because people were like, we had to walk the floor. So I've seen you dance. I now just want to see you walk. And there was a comment that was made that people were like, well, what should we do? Should we dance with the walk? Should we do this? And, all of these questions. And so we were briefed on that Michael had said by Kenny Ortega, saying, he is a legend. He's looking for superstars. You don't ever have to worry about outdoing him or doing too much because he's a legend, right? So they were like challenging everyone to go beyond just thinking like a dancer, go beyond just thinking like that ceiling, and think about he's legendary status. Go out and challenge yourself to be a superstar. And it was funny because when I walked right before I got called to be like in the finals, I tapped into, and this is like a story, and I'm correlating it. I tapped to and I said, what would Janet do? His sister.
There you go.
She's a superstar, right? Needless to say, I got called, handpicked
There you
by
go.
him. Okay, so I say that to say, agreed. Learning, there was a couple of lessons from that situation, even from Michael, that I learned about challenging yourself to be wanting like it's not enough like Kanye, oh, he got money, what you gonna tell him? Challenge him to be
Yes.
better. I agree 100%. And I
And
feel like for Michael, somebody who got it and knew how to transcend beyond just music and beyond just like worldly things. And it was really like one of those lessons that I took and applied to a lot of stuff, like who cares? Show up and be a superstar. You know what I mean? Like challenge yourself to go beyond and be like just the surface level of success. So I agree 100% with you. I say that because I took that with me. And I agree with, I think, with the right people, when you challenge them and you give them that aha moment. I was raised differently, but it still was an aha moment. You say, okay, why is money an excuse or just enough? Why can't you go beyond that? Like, go beyond that. I think eventually you're going to stump some people, but you might trigger some people to go, you know what, for real.
Absolutely. Now, Bill, I'm gonna let you
mm,
share, and then we're gonna wrap up because we've been
I
on
know I
another
gotta
two
wrap up
hours.
too.
So go
I
ahead,
gotta
Bill.
wrap up soon.
we do.
Close us out.
Listen, all I want to say, I what's in my heart is, as a black man, I will protect my family and I will protect my tribe. I don't give a. Sean knows. You call me 5 minutes, I'll jump in my car. What do you need? When do you need it? Period.
Mhm.
And I think part of this conversation is, being that type of person, you need to have a standard or some equilibrium with the people around you to understand how you are, where you are, and what you need to do to get where you need to get. I think we spend a lot of time dragging people into worlds that they don't want to be in.
Agreed.
Men and women. Baby, come on, this is where I'm going. Motherfucker, I don't want to go there. I'm good
I
here.
agree. Yeah, I agree.
And I think we need to work on that, in creating that standard and creating that standard in our children. It's not fear, but it is a standard. When I was raised, I was like, you do whatever you can do, you have to be better than white people. I come
We
from
always have to be extraordinary
my
to compete with
family.
the ordinary.
We came from South Carolina. You know, one
Mhm.
generation from South Carolina. They don't like those folks down there at all. And I came with have that standard. And I used that standard in school. I
Mhm.
use that standard in life because even in my job, I know I got to be better than them.
Yeah, that part.
Just to be,
E-
damn near just to be
Equal.
even.
Right,
Equal.
right,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Just
Yeah.
that equity part.
Yeah.
I know that. But I kind of think we need to create our own standards and
I agree.
standards outside of them and what they see and create our own.
I agree.
Cannabis, education,
I agree.
jobs. I don't give a flying what it is. Stop asking them for what we need. Create our own standard. Demand that everybody. Well, I don't think we should. I don't think we should have to do that to come to your club, Bear. Then don't.
Right.
I'm that
Yeah.
dude. Then don't. So
I do think it is a
create.
little bit of fear though, because I've actually had conversations and there are some of the resistance is fear. So for example, crypto, and having these conversations in metaverse, I've had so many people say like, I don't know about all that. Like, I don't need to talk about all that. And it was like, this is a chance where we can level the playing field in a whole different space if you get on board now. But I don't need to talk like I'm trying to deal day to day. So there is a level of fear and there is that crabs in the barrel mentality that we have to like really chisel that down. And that's
Well,
going to be
see,
very, very hard
my
to
crab,
do.
and I'm with
Well.
you.
Before y'all go, I won't read this comment because it's relevant to what we're talking about. If we work
We're
together,
always looking for a white savior.
yeah.
Sorry.
If we work together,
I
we will
need
be able
Jesus.
to just be us instead of using them as a standard. The flaw is
We
that we don't look at ourselves that way. We look at the white people.
look at white people, white savior, exactly.
Yeah,
Right, exactly.
Thank you.
And but
but
that was also done to us. And again, though,
the
I go back
brainwashing.
to what you said, though, Sean. It's not an excuse. I get it because at some point we know it was done to us. We got to do something about it. I agree, but it is brainwashing, and it's been hundreds and hundreds of years of
But
conditioning
guess what?
to make us
Guess what?
look to them as the
If
savior.
we acknowledge and understand we already have the power, we already have the ability, we are the brainwashers, we are the trendsetters. So
We are.
that's a very poor excuse because
But we're the
we
generation that took the
just
white
don't
Jesus off our
have the
wall, though.
right. We just don't have the reins
We don't
of
have the
who we are
ring.
because we don't have the
Right.
understanding of who we are. So these
You know,
conversations brings the
can,
ability to understand one another as well as understand how we can take better the reins and give direct the narrative, direct the finances, most importantly, because right now we have a lot of people who have finances, all of these superstars, etc., and we don't direct it. They don't even direct it. They go to
They
somebody to
don't.
direct it for them.
I agree. I agree. I mean,
mm,
that's happened even in my own circle. And you'd be like, well, I'm capable. Why'd you go hire Becky? It's weird. But yeah, it happens all the time. But I think a lot of us are I say just community, are looking for another leader. And that's the thing is we have a lot of individual leaders around like the Tamika Mallory, some say Sean King, or just, Lee Merritt or different people and stuff, but there's no Malcolm X, right? There's no MLK. And people are always looking for this figure to say, hey, come in, save me. What do I do? You know what I mean? And when we don't have a figure, then they're looking to the white man to do it.
Well, the
And
funny thing is, it's kind of like I learned this in labels. I used to always see artists come over to the labels and just pretty much try and get the label to tell them what to do.
I
And
know,
I'm at the
right?
label and I'm on the other side and I'm telling them, yo, they will do
come
bait
talk to me.
questions. They will make bait questions so that they can bait them into telling them what they're already doing. Then turn it around and be like, oh, you know what? I think we can do what it is that you're already doing
Right,
And
better.
that's what I think we should do. And now we have a validation. For some reason, we need this validation. And now we're going ahead and thinking that they're doing something when in fact we came in with what was being done and what needed to be done. And we
Already.
didn't even acknowledge
Already.
or understand that we already had it in our power. And I'll leave that to say we're going to get out of here. Thank you for joining me in Straight Talk, Lisa Straight Understanding. It also segues into Bear and I will be on Thursday having at the
Yeah.
same time, 3 p.m., conversations about the cannabis industry.
Oh, dope. Oh, I told you I got it. Yeah, I need to get my boy in there.
So on
The trippy.
Thursday,
Yeah,
we will
that's
be
dope.
talking about the cannabis. Bear, I'm going to let you speak about what it is you want to say because I see you say. Go ahead.
Oh, no. The last thing was, Adrian, my grandmother used to say, don't believe nothing until a white man tell it.
You know what? My family from South Oklahoma, trust me, I didn't hear all
Okay.
of that.
So that's the understanding that you have to
Yes.
have with our own people, that if you, I want you to get an assistant, a Caucasian assistant, to tell the same people that you're going at now, you want them to work. Well, I want you to work with Kyle.
Right.
And as soon as you do that, everybody's going to come to you. But as far as cannabis, our cannabis industry conversation is, why aren't we in this space? Why aren't we in this multi-billion-dollar space?
That again,
Period.
we directed,
That we
we
directed,
Listen.
cultivated, and don't have the
cultivated.
reins on.
Went to jail for though. Let's
Yeah,
talk about all the ones that right.
and
Sitting
don't
up
have the
there while
reins
they
on.
come in and then prosper.
So yeah,
Right.
so we're gonna be
Yes.
touching on that,
Look.
and we're gonna be doing it weekly on Thursdays, like we're doing light stuff over here on Straight Talk on Sundays.
Mhm.
Join us on Thursday.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me today, both Bear and Adrian. Great
It was
conversation.
a pleasure, Bear.
It was a pleasure, eh?
It was a pleasure.
And the
No
beauty
doubt.
is that I understood, and that's why I'm so glad that you did join us, Adrian, because I knew that you would bring up some points that will challenge us as men, and we will bring up some points that might challenge you as a woman. But the point is,
Yeah, for sure.
challenging does not mean that it has to be looked at as confrontational. Even though some
I
people might
agree.
have saw y'all going at it and say, "Oh, they are," and don't
We're
tune out.
passionate
Absolutely,
people.
and
Yeah.
we need to
I'm an
understand.
Aquarius. I'm
Yeah,
passionate.
we need to understand the grace
Agitated.
I get along
and
with
be
them.
able to channel that passion so that
Mhm.
it's not taken the wrong way, and more importantly, that it's received and that we can hear each other through the passion.
I
Yeah.
agree. And we got to a point of understanding. Black code, people. We got to be like white folks. They stay on code.
Absolutely.
Even through conflict. We just got to have black code. Get through the conflict, say what you
Yeah.
got to say. We find resolution and then we grow.
And move on. And
And
keep it
move
moving.
on. Yes, black code.
All right. So on that note,
All right, Big Sean. Hey.
thank you.
Blessings. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me.
Okay.
For
Hey.
sure.
my code is sending love, sending expression, sending peace and blessings to all those who are here listening to us, to all those who chimed in, to my guests, Adrian and Chris or Bear. Please guide us all, guide us, guide our loved ones, guide our enemies, so that we may know better how to deal with not only ourselves but one another. And forgive us for any times that we are mistaking our confidence, or we allow our confidence to get into arrogance, and just reel us back in. Allow us to reel each other in when that happens, and keep us confident yet and fearless, so that we can trust one another and that we can learn to trust one another better. I say these things humbly in your Son Jesus Christ's blessed name, or however those who I'm praying for may acknowledge and know you, Lord, Father, Allah, whomever and however they.
Mm-hmm. And tell those black people to get out of Ukraine.
Yeah.
They trying.
All right,
I
y'all.
can't. That's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother. We can do this every day, y'all.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
hosting
much.
that.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much, Tia.
Thank you,
Thank you
Coach.
so much, Adrian. And thank you so much, everybody who joined us. With that, I bid my farewell.
Peace.
All right,
Peace.
see ya.